the version, or you need to find out how many connections, or et cetera, et cetera. You can do that by running status. Right now, one of the important things that we'll use it for in this VTM is actually seeing what current database we're tied to. And right now, we're not actually using any particular database. Okay, we've just got into my SQL, and we're sitting there, and we have not told the server that we want to access this refrigerator or this database. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So basically, think of it like this. Going into the MySQL is like walking into a room full of refrigerators. And before you open one up, I mean, you got to tell yourself, I want to open up that one, right? Is that fair, Adam?
Is it the side-by-side or the over and under?
That's irrelevant.
That's what you have to tell yourself.
Well, no, you just want to tell yourself, I want to open up that one there.
Can it be over and under?
So,
whatever you want.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. It can be over and under. With the little ice maker on the side.
Yay.
Okay. So now that we have that out of the way, other pieces of information that you can find in here: protocol version, server version over here. Just uptime. In this case, we just started at 2 minutes 10 seconds ago. So status can definitely be handy. Now, our first true command. What I want to do is, I want to get a listing of all of the databases that are available. You walk into a room full of refrigerators, you want to get a listing of all the refrigerators that are available for you to peruse, right?
Right.
Sounds fair. So to do this, what we need to do is come in here and just simply type in show
refrigerator
databases. Show databases. Again, I'm putting a terminator, semicolon at the end. And what we'll do is we'll get a listing of the databases that are available inside of MySQL. Right now, we've got 2 by default that are put in there when you first install MySQL to your server or your operating system. We have the database MySQL and we have test. Now, MySQL stores all sorts of good stuff, and we're going to talk about that more in VTM issue number 2. That is the plan, right, Logan?
Yes.
Okay. So in this case right here, I'm just wanting to just show you really simple stuff. So we'll get into that later. So I guess what we want to do is find out how do we create a database, right?
Right.
That would be nice.
Here we go. Create database, and we'll call it BuzzDB. And again, I'll put a terminator at the end.
Okay, so when you're inside of MySQL, you always put a terminator?
Not all. Logan, you want to talk about that?
Okay, once you're working with, if you're working, once you're down and working with tables and fields, then you're always using a terminator. Or if you're creating stuff, then you would use a terminator. Let's see.
There are some things that you do not have to use a terminator with, but I would just suggest get into the habit of using a terminator with everything that you type inside.
Right. Using a terminator won't mess stuff up.
Right.
Some places leaving it off, it'll require a terminator.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and type in. Again, it's create space database space and your database name. In this case right here, I am calling it BuzzDB. So I'll go ahead and press enter.
One note is that that is case sensitive, so remember the exact case of your database.
Okay. And we get query OK, 1 row affected, the time it takes to do this. Basically what that is saying is, yep, it did it. Now what I want to do is type show databases again, but I'm lazy.
Right.
There's a history that we have running active for us inside of MySQL, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
Tell us about this history there, Mr. Logan.
Well, if you've used either DOS or the command prompt in Windows or Unix or Linux, pressing the up arrow key, as long as you have the system configured that way, the default, pressing the up arrow key in the terminal prompt will give you the previous lines. Pressing up multiple times will give you a whole backlog of stuff you've already typed.
So I can press up, and there's where I just created the database. I can press up again. There's the show databases. Press up again. There's when we did status. There's where I did help. Okay.
That's all you did.
So, and you keep this thing running, and if we disconnect and we connect, it'll still, as long as we still have this server process running, it'll still remember everything, right?
Yes, you can actually close the monitor, MySQL monitor, and then open it back up, and you still have your backlog of stuff.
That's awesome. Okay, it's very handy. You find it handy, don't you?
Oh yes.
And sometimes
I've actually used stuff that's like a couple of weeks old.
Just going ding, ding, ding,
the
ding, 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 ding. Oh, there it is. Ding. Okay, so let's go ahead and come back down to show databases again. Hit enter, and this time we get a list of database. We have BuzzDB, MySQL, and test. So there's BuzzDB. Now, you ready for this? That's it. That just created our refrigerator, our database.
So it's there.
That's there.
Wow.
It's now ready for us to use it. But how do we tell the system that we want to use it? Well,
use.
Look at that. That's
Oh,
good.
man.
Use BuzzDB.
You're a natural.
Hire me now.
Terminator. Hit enter. Look what we have. Database changed. We're now using BuzzDB. And I can prove this just in case you happen to have forgotten or whatever. If we come in here and type status again, current database.
By golly, it's there.
BuzzDB.
Whoa.
Okay, pretty handy, huh? So, getting rid of this database now. Sometimes you may want to actually delete out databases. Pretty easy to actually kill it. To get rid of BuzzDB, we can just simply say drop database, and then the name of the database that you want to drop, BuzzDB. Okay? So again, this is if you need to kill out a database, just simply type in drop database BuzzDB. Logan, real quick, tell us, if there are tables inside this database, and I type this command in, what's going to happen? Are we going to get a are you sure, or are we going to get the database is populated with stuff can't do? Or
Nope, you're just going to get it'll just tell you how much and what it deleted.
So
there's no, as soon as you hit enter, it's gone.
So it's pretty unforgiving, right?
Yep.
And that's not that bad here because you're not usually dropping databases, but there are some things that we're going to be taking a look at shortly that you could accidentally hit enter and do some serious damage to data, right?
You can't go
Yes,
back?
when you're working with
No.
No undos?
Guess it's your own
Nope.
darn fault then.
You can't Z out?
No.
Nope.
So
No, you can't.
please
I had to
be
throw that in, I'm
please
sorry.
be very, very careful. So let's go ahead and drop database BuzzDB. Press enter. And now what we'll do is come back in here and we'll tell it to show databases. And we only have two available, MySQL and test.
I have a feeling that's going to bite me a few times.
So all it takes is getting bit once to remember to be careful. So let's go ahead. One last time, I'm going to create it again. Again, I can use history. Just kind of flip back through here until I find create database, BuzzDB. And we've got it created, and I'm doing this so that in the next section we can take advantage of this when we're creating tables. So that's pretty much all I want to talk about in this section right here. Pretty simple?
Yeah.
Okay, so thanks a lot, guys.